Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Katie. I have another creepypasta story for you guys today. The title of this one is A Story to Read Alone at Night. The author is anonymous, and as always I will link the story in the description down below. I really hope you guys enjoy this, so let's get started. Sarah makes a cup of chamomile tea and nestles under her down comforter. Ensconced by the glow of her reading lamp, she opens her volume of the collected ghost stories and settles in for the night. Her parents had taken her younger brother and sister away for a weekend getaway, but she opted to stay behind, preferring some much-needed peace and quiet. She is an unusual 17-year-old, valuing her time alone with a good book over the typical high school party taking place just a few blocks away. She studies the table of contents, trying to remember which stories she had already read before settling in on The Empty House, finding the title agreeable. It takes less than a minute for her to tune out her surroundings and focus her attention entirely on the story. Sarah is one of those connoisseurs of fiction who doesn't simply read the words printed on the page. Rather, she crawls into the story, vividly imagining every scene as though each and every detail were projected to her mind's eye. Beep! Sarah looks up from her book with a start and smiles when she realizes it was just her phone. She picks it up from the nightstand and turns it off without even looking to see who texted her. She takes a deep breath and finds her place in her book. It is dark out and the house is completely quiet, save for the sound of an intermittent breeze rustling leaves of the tree outside her second bedroom story window. She finishes her first story and consults the table of contents for another. This ritual of hers continues well into the night. A few minutes later, she is engrossed in the tale of a demon that possesses a young girl. She is 5 pages in when, ring! Disoriented, she looks at her phone. She realizes that it's coming from the landline downstairs. She checks her clock. It's already after 11. Fearing an emergency, she races down the dark stairway into the living room. But it's too late. The ringing has already stopped. She stops short of the phone and finds herself alone in the large, dark entryway. She lingers by the phone for a minute or two before heading back up the stairs. She turns her phone and scrolls through the texts, but nothing is noteworthy. She slides back under the covers and resumes reading. She hasn't been reading long when she hears a thump. Something hits the roof directly above her bed. Her eyes dart to the ceiling, but there is nothing even to be seen. Seconds later, she hears another thump, only this time it's followed by a sound of something rolling across the synthetic shingles of the roof. She pauses, anticipating the next collision, but there is only silence. She picks up her book, but before she makes it to the 6th word, she hears thump, pat, pat, pat. Sarah darts up from the bed and looks out her window. But there's still nothing to be seen. Maybe a stranger or two from the party down the street. Then she hears a meow. No, it must just be the neighbor's cat. Sarah takes a deep breath and crawls back into the bed. She's on the edge, but that is the whole point of the game. Avenging spirits and demonic children are the fuel to her fire. The breeze has escalated to a cool northern wind, causing the fingerlings of the tree branches to occasionally brush against her window. The first tap and scrape causes a moment of alarm and then brings a smile to her face. She moves on at this point to a yarn about a girl who comes to find her roommate's blood on the walls. It's your typical urban legend with obvious moralistic undertones. But just as she's about to reach the end, she hears thump, thump, thump. Sarah pulls her book to her chest as the adrenaline starts to take over. What was that? She thinks. She hears it even louder. Thump, thump, thump. Someone is knocking on her door. She slowly starts to get up from her bed, hesitating, pauses halfway, holding herself in an awkward pose. She cocks her head to the side a little bit, alarmed and a bit unsure of herself. The thump turns to a bang. Bang, bang, bang on her door. There is an urgency to the knocking. Sarah's eyes are wide with fear as she's breathing heavily. It's probably just Amy and Jake, she says, trying to imbue herself with confidence. They're just drunk, those freaking idiots. Resolute, she finds herself from the bed and creeps to the bedroom door. She makes her way down the dark hallway to the staircase and follows them down, stepping lightly as though not to wake anyone up, even though she's all alone. She pauses at the foot of the landing and cranes her head toward the door. The entryway is so dark, so she squints and peers toward the front door, but is greeted by nothing but silence. "Jake? Amy?" she says. There is no answer. She steps forward and contemplates the peephole. "Who's there? Hello?" She waits for an answer, hoping for a familiar voice, but there is only silence and the sound of her breathing. Everything is dark and the house is growing foreign in the darkness. A bit shaken, if anything, she turns and ascends the stairs, trying her best to again walk lightly. The floorboards creak at each step, and the slower she goes, the louder they grow. "Damn it," she mutters. She takes another step, and then another, but the floorboards are groaning beneath her. She then hesitates for a moment, and with a sudden burst, she sprints up the stairs and into her room, where she dives into her bed, covering herself. Some moments pass. "You're being ridiculous," she tells herself. "It was just Jake and Amy, or some other drunk friends," she says soothingly. She turns off her reading lamp and the room turns pitch black. She is safe there, secure beneath her sanctuary of her comforter. Her breathing slows and she talks herself down. The cat, the phone, the knock at the door, they all have innocent explanations to anyone who didn't waste their time with nonsensical ghost stories. Normal kids who go to parties would take these things for what they are, she reassures herself. But then, click, rick. It's just the heater, she reminds herself. Perfectly normal. She pulls the covers tight and slowly to adjust her dark surroundings. It was all just nothing. She begins to grow tired and soon she can't keep her eyes open. The steady whir of the heater is lulling her to sleep. 15 minutes later, the heat is still blowing. Sarah kicks the comforter away, but the heat is relentless. She tosses and turns, wrestling the sheets free, but it's no use. In a fit of absolute frustration, she gets up from her bed and slides the window open. She tries to get comfortable again, but it's still no use. The wind has started to die down, and her room is quiet except for the heater. She waits, but it is no use. The heat continues to blow. She stirs and rises from the bed, neglecting the light to make her way downstairs. She'll find the thermostat at 90, but that's besides the point. It's late now. My plot worked, and she's finally invited me in. An open window, a walk-in closet. The night's not over, and now it's time to play my game. Well, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please like and subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching and coming back. I will see you guys next time. Bye.